about as we go into this third round. It's Sheepless Knights versus Blorb. I gotta say, I do like both these teams as they have silly names. I love me a good team with silly names. And as the bans are about to be finished, a lot of targets towards the bot side. A Caitlyn ban, a Kalista Ezreal Braum ban. Draco, I know you're saying you wanted that Kalista. How are you feeling with that ban?
Honestly, I'll take a ban for it. That's as much content we've seen for Callista now in a while. So, but I mean, we named three of these champions: Yorick, Ezreal, Callista. Yeah, these are all kind of what's commonly picked. But yeah, take it away here.
I, I don't know. I'm just we're drafting so fast. We're picking champions that I'm not expecting. Urgot first pick into a Vayne Taric. I think the Vayne pick is a top counter to Urgot. I know, like, technically, like, it's very Vayne favored as you can condemn him out of his charge. Um. Oh, okay. This is after draft, so they're picking in order. So they're
Yes.
picking their roles champions. Okay, so this is a Light Rocket V2 Taric. And Kuna Draco. I don't know if you know who Light Rocket is. Do you know? Do you know the?
I do.
You know the lore of him? That guy owes me a lot of LP. He owes Psychopathic Poro, knows the tech on Taric. Because there actually is some really interesting and fun tech on Jungle Taric. One of my favorite things that Jungle Taric can do is press W on your mid laner while you take Raptors and just heal. Because you heal spam with the passive and the cooldown reduction, and then your mid laner just gets 50% HP healed for fun. That is a fun tech that you can do. But speaking of fun, bot lane looks like it's going to be fun. It is a Draven Tristana Carmarel. Like, come on. Like, this is good. It's
Yeah.
PLC, baby. It's PLC.
I don't know. I'm looking at this, and every pick that comes out, you see the Taric, and you're like, okay, but yeah, this isn't pick order. They did the draft rule. This is where they're playing. We're seeing that Taric jungle, and the one thing you hear oftentimes with Taric is you're not fighting, health bar versus health bar. You're fighting your health bar versus Taric's mana bar because he
Right.
just spams those heals and those Qs. And as a jungler, you don't really ever run out of mana if you're in the jungle. You have so much regen that it'd be very interesting to see. And into a Nocturnal, it seems like there's still a little skill, a little timing is needed,
Mm.
but Nocturne has about as telegraphed of a wombo combo with Orianna as you can get, right? Your whole screen goes dark and you see something shooting across the sky. Right?
Right.
If you drop that Terrigal, you just completely negate all of Sheepless Knight's strategy.
Well, that's
Now there
something.
is
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's a little timing. Nocturne ult lasts a lot longer than people think, especially I think at later levels it goes up higher. So you could theoretically wait out the Terrical, right? You cast the darkness, and if Taric instantly casts his ult, there's a timing there. But we'll see if they can play that out or how that ends up happening. But there's a lot of strategy and mind games happening in this game.
Yeah, I did want to bring out or bring up that Nocturne Oriana combo as, like, as you're saying, it is very telegraphed. However, I don't think Taric ult starts the invulnerability in time for the combo to go out, as it is, if you just go like immediately R1 R2 on Nocturne, that Taric ult does take a decent amount of time to activate. I feel like that burst damage is probably gonna be decently consistent. But my question is, Coach Rico, how do you get a kill after that burst? Because Nocturne and Orianna go in, then the Terracold pops, right? So you get that burst damage. Maybe you kill Talia, Vayne, or Tristana. If you're lucky, maybe you tag both with that Orianna ball. But then Terracold is going through. That's giving Talia, Vayne, Tristana uptime, and Rel is counter engaging. And my thing with Sheepless Knights is they don't really have anything to play off of that Nocturne ult. Usually when I see a Nocturne, I'm like, okay, you want a Rakan, you want a Rel, you want Alistar to engage with the Nocturne, to follow up on that go in. But in my opinion, this Sheepless Knights roster, Nocturne is just going to go in by himself, get one shot, and then Blorb is just going to kill everyone.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a couple ways it can go through, and I do think whoever has the biggest wallets will probably win the fights.
Oh, for sure.
Draven, if he gets ahead, if he gets a few kills, which I think is very possible into a Tristana Rel, it's a strong fighting lane, but it's definitely not, the lane is over right away. So depending on how that plays out, um, there's a lot of opportunity for those kills. But as a follow-up kill, yeah, I'm thinking about it. You're right. Besides maybe Urgot snagging the kill with his chains and getting a big fear, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's really, you're trying to work through a Taric and a Rel as Draven, right?
Yeah.
Which,
Well, and then also, like, you're getting zoned by Talia. Like, Talia has so much zone presence, which makes Urgot kind of hate his life, because his only way in is, like, yeah, I'm imagining, like, an Urgot ult onto that Nocturne ult target, and then you can, like, E-flash in with the fear, but if that target isn't Talia, she can push you away and counter that engage. But yeah, I think my eye, and I'm fully with you, is bot lane, because it's such a big fight lane. But my twist with this fight lane that I'm thinking about right now is the fact that it's Draven Karma. It's not like Draven Alistar, it's not Draven Leona, it's not engage support versus engage support skill matchup. That Karma, and this is coming from somebody that has played a lot of Karma in the past, if you are hitting your mantra Qs consistent, every single mantra Q is hitting, and the occasional non-mantra Q is hitting on a Tristana or a Rel, Tristana and Rel have no counterplay to it. Their only way into that lane is to fully, like, full HP, full HP, all in. If Draven and Karma allow themselves to have some space and time to poke them down and whittle them down with the occasional Draven Axe auto and the mantra Qs, things are looking great for the blue side. But this is exactly what I was saying, is being able to find an early cheese with this Rel and play just like chunks. Be able to trade HP for HP.
and we're seeing the Vayne into Urgot here, right? The trades.
Oh, he
Don't have the condemn level 1.
Yeah, and he uses the Q in the trade as well, so he can't Q away from the E. Both top laners aren't using TP as well, so this top lane is going to be really volatile. But Vayne used her pot. So
I just noticed that too.
Yeah, so that is a huge trade, because now Hollow Slendy can just fully trade, and even if it's a disadvantageous trade, it's better for him if Vayne is lower HP. And also, now Vayne has no HP pot to sustain.
We'll see what happens with the wave here. Hollow has an opportunity to pull it, to push it, but he did not recall. So honestly, I don't think the health pot is as big of a deal, because essentially he's down a health pot's worth of health, right?
Yeah. He does have D-Shield, and I'm assuming second win, because I didn't see a bone plating there, so that does help him a little bit, especially because Vayne's, you know, poke is just an auto and maybe an auto Q auto, especially level 2.
D-Shield second wind is essential into
so
any ranged
broken.
matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing that makes those matchups playable, right?
Right.
Well,
I'm interested by the Talia pick here.
oh, well,
Talk about.
I'm gonna cut you off a little bit. It's trade bot side. It's a level 2 flash from Rel, but it's only chunking the Draven down a little bit, and they still have the level up HP to get here. Go to Draco.
Yeah. With the Talia, one thing I was thinking is there's honestly not a lot of things that her stun is going to stop. Nocturnal, if she casts it, yeah, he will come out stunned, but the thing about Talia's rocks is it's not a knockdown. It just stuns, so your dash still goes through. Urgot honestly doesn't care about Talia mines, besides the damage, because he basically stuns himself for half of a second at the end of his flip anyways.
Well,
Potential
speaking of
flash
that
coming
Urgot,
though.
that flash is going down. The lethal temple proc almost does the damage to lethal him out, but he didn't use Ghost, and Vayne used both Ghost and Flash, so, I mean, as much as he's forced to go do the walk of shame back home, I actually think that Urgot still is in a decently winning position. It's very, very scary. If I'm anyone on red side and I'm F king to top, I'm really worried about my Vayne.
It's not like a jungle Taric is going to be one that can really just, you know, gank the Urgot a million times, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not too worried about that top lane. I did, unless I'm going crazy, I think Hollow did have cloth armor and then canceled it, undid it, and then went for the longsword. So I'm seeing a little more aggression. PLC classic, who builds defensive, all damage, all gas, no brakes. But yeah, we do see something potentially happening top side. I think this is just gonna poke out.
Yeah, I think Taric is just potentially hovering for an Urgot all-in. Like you were saying, Taric can't really do anything in this top matchup. Like, both junglers, until Nocturne is level 6, they're very reactive. They want to counter gank, right? If Taric is sitting in a bush, and then Urgot goes in, that's when he can get the stun. But until that happens, he can't really do anything. But a heavy trade towards bot side. It's that poke we were talking about before. But speaking of the top side, it's going to be a gank attempt. The stun is going to go missing, and not even an auto attack is going through. But Taric can help Vayne crash this wave, which is going to be really important for Awowo to get it in, so that she can reset and spend her gold.
Yeah, this rage's actually probably not going to crash, at least not for a minute. It's going to be very awkward with those casters under a turret.
The flick. Missing.
Trades. I mean, we're seeing trades everywhere, but honestly, I don't see a lot of kill threats right now. People just don't have the damage yet. And something I said about Mana and Taric, right? If you look at his build, 3 fairy charms. He's stacked up. He's just gonna spam all of those abilities, punch everything down. I don't know enough about Light Rocket to know what he builds, but this sounds and looks like something that a Taric jungle player would know to build.
Light Rocket changes his build every single day, I feel like. There's also like in Masters. It's gonna be a flick, and you know, you're gonna eat your words there, Kodo Draco, as it's a kill threat for the Taliyah, but Blue side's gonna be able to get the dragon, which it makes sense. I mean, a Taric with 3 fairy charms can't really contest a double long for Nocturne, but the Taliyah ult is gonna help out. The Weaver's Wall is gonna force him into the fight, but Messiax is gonna be able to get out with 1 HP. Tilks is trying his best to do a lot of damage, but it's not quite enough. I mean, it is Draven going to be finding the kill, actually. But now he has to fight through a Taric Rel. All that healing from Taric is trying his best as well. But Blurb has no damage in this comp. It's only Taliyah and Trist. But because those two were, you know, fighting really fast. Oh my god, and Sneaky Turtle gets out. So many low HP members on the side of Blue.
6 kills, 6 minutes. PLC.
Cinema.
We missed you.
God bless America. Yeah, I mean...
Speed of Warfare, already claimed. Ocean Dragon actually surprised me to start off that fight really early. But it kind of makes sense. Taric, even in the bot lane, is a scaling support for the most part, right? His ult is where a lot of his kit's power comes from. And he's not going to be able to contest a Nocturne early in the jungle. That was something I was thinking about in Champ Select is Nocturne has a spell shield and Taric has 1 offensive spell. 1 spell that can get spell shield, and it's a big one. It's the stun, right?
Yeah.
And again, super telegraphed. So if they ever get in a 1v1, you know that Taric's getting feared. You know the Sneaky Turtle's getting that spell shield off to stop the stun. You know, getting the bonus attack speed that comes with it. It'd be rough matchup.
Maybe tried towards bot side though. Actually, not as much. They're not going to extend it. Tilks could jump in and potentially get that Karma down. But I think another pivotal point of that play towards Dragon is the fact that Nocturne had 2 long swords versus Taric's fairy charms, but also Draven nor Tristana had recalled. And so it's Doran's Blade versus Doran's Blade. And in my opinion, Draven is always going to be stronger in that matchup because Draven has a BF sword level 1 with his axes, right? He's always going to have stronger damage. And Tristana has the nade, but after the nade, kind of falls out of damage. Speaking of falling out of damage, we're going to be falling towards the Orianna to try to get some chunk out, but it's actually a big turn from the blue side. Awowo, though, has a lot of space to play with, and Taric is trying his best to get some heals. No Urgot ult and no Nocturne ult for Awowo to have to play around, but that flip from Urgot is going to turn the tides of this battle. Awowo trying so desperately to get a kill onto Sneaky Turtle, but I think Blorb is finding that they do not have the damage to contest a Nocturne Orianna Urgot.
Just hit 6. Goes wide.
Whirling Death going wide,
Although
but he
he's
still
running
wants
back
his
for it.
blood.
He's
He's
going
going for Rel, the stun going through. The nade from Tilks is going to pop down, but it's not enough when the Whirling Death, or excuse me, those axes just do so much damage here.
Yeah, the Pyro Maverick, confident, just hit 6 from the wave, throws the ult into the bush. Honestly, genuinely good use of a zoning ult, right? If they're running straight away, it hits them, but if they're anywhere closer, they get cut off on the return strike, and he gets to force them to fight him 1v2, and picks up a double kill, which you see Draven's coming back to lane with a Bloodthirster, components for Wild Arrows, but another fight mid.
Yeah, it's going to be a root from Karma, but it actually doesn't even matter with the command attack from Orianna. Just gonna end command dissonance. Just gonna shut her down. I mean, Taliyah was kind of the only linchpin for Blorb to play through, and now it's starting to be faltered with these top side and bot side plays. Talia's kind of dropping a lot of her prio in order to fight these losing lanes.
See if there's a commitment here top lane. Tower dive?
Silver arrows, not or silver bolts, excuse me, not gonna do enough for the lethal, but does burn the flash. But Kodo Draco, I see that Urgot has a serrated Dirk, and it's now also a tunneler. I was expecting more of like a tanky Urgot, but this guy wants to do a lot more damage than what I was thinking.
Yeah, I forget exactly what the build is, but I have seen Urgot's build some lethality early just to buff the damage.
It makes
Gets
sense.
squishy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of squishy, the squishies to the bot side are going to be chunked out a little bit, but here comes the Eternal Darkness of Nocturne. The stun is going to be spell shielded, as you said. The Whirling Death doing quite a bit of damage, and the Taric ult is so late. Sure, it's going to save Tilks, but the rest of the team is dead. Probably Soul might be able to get a sneaky trade on his way out. A beautiful Weaver's Wall, a fade away as he gets the shutdown of Sneaky Turtle. But again, it's Blur not realizing what their genuine win con is with their 3v3.
Yeah, I see in the chat from a while ago, Billy Harold said Soul is a big Talia player, maybe even a one trick, so I'm not surprised that we see a combo like that, but that was perfect timing on that execution. Knockback, get all of your spells out, and then ride the wall just to get out before any retaliation comes through. Another knockback. Have we even seen this one?
I was gonna say, we've seen a couple missed flicks, but Soul has been doing a great job of, I mean, like, I'm actually really impressed with the way that he's been trading mid. But I think we caster cursed him as he does get taken down by that command shockwave. I think he may have thought that Orianna used it bot side, or maybe just getting a little greedy. Did have the flash available, but that allows them to just get Dragon. And yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Kodrigo, but I personally don't like when the Draven and Nocturne get a lot of early kills. And I think Lord might
Depends what
be
team
facing
I'm on.
that. That's true. Yeah, no, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, if I were playing Karma here, I'm more than happy. But yeah, Sheepless Knights, very happy with their position. Although you see the kills, 13 to 5, and given dragons don't really change the gold lead much, but we're still moving on to 3,000 gold lead, right? Now it's 12 minutes into the game. That's a significant amount for this point in the game, but it's not insurmountable. At this point, you've got a Vayne top, you've got a Turk, you've got a Tristana. You just need a minute to get online, right?
Yeah.
Scale up that Seraph's Embrace, build that fork, get everything working for you, and then you can consider trading back. In this top lane, just poke.
Edge of Night is gonna proc the Condemn's gonna proc the Edge of Night, but the Stealth is gonna be trying to get Alola out of town as Sneaky Turtle tries to shut her down, and it's successful with the Stride Breaker slow and the Fear staying on top of her. And like you're saying, the gold lead isn't as strong as you'd think, but I feel like it's just slowly snowballing a big, strong Draven, which is going to be engaged on. But the Taric Sun is going to be flashed away and has the support of Karma. Tilk's messing up that rocket jump, and this Draven is... he's fine. He's chilling. He took 0 damage.
Yeah, I mean, has to burn the flash.
But it's a re-engage as Meissner is going to be a little, you know, maybe a little greedy, but that crash down from Rel is going to be canceled by that spinning death of Draven. The Taric ult is going to be supporting Tilks as he jumps forward, gets the reset on the Karma kill. The Taric ult maybe a little unnecessary. That's a long cooldown, especially when a re-engage from Death Sniper might be coming here soon. Has the Shockwave, finds 2, one of them flashing away, but the Whirling Death is going to make Pyro of Maverick unstoppable as he kills Psychopathic Poro and claims a lot more gold for himself, and probably wants some more as he's still full HP.
Yeah, it was looking like a good play, and honestly, I can't blame Blurred for going for it. They had an opportunity, they caught Messiers, and honestly, they got both flashes out, and even Death Sniper on the roam down burned the flash over. 3 flashes. Now let's just see if they can make something happen again. I think if you're Psychopathic Poro, at this point, you just spam gank bot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the audience... Oh my god. We are just shutting down the Draven. A beautiful flick from the Talia. And, I mean, we're seeing that Slow is a great Taliyah player. I mean, I feel like Taliyah is kind of the only person in this game. Flash forward from Urgot as I eat my words. Awoa might just be killed again. Karma gonna be there as moral support. Doesn't get the assist. Tank the tower though. And yeah, I mean, wherever Sheepless Knights are to engage, Blorb is just gonna eat the death. They don't really have anyone to tank these Nocturnals at this moment.
Yeah, Taliyah versus Orianna, standard, staple, control mage matchup, and we're seeing both of them getting a lot of roaming in, which is honestly makes sense, right? Shove your wave, roam. Shove your wave, roam. And the roam from Messer's top lane to help secure the kill on Awoa, that seemed to be kind of the one consistently losing lane. Big fight.
Flip towards the bot side, punishing Pyro Maverick for going forward. I mean, Psychopathic Poro staying and doing a good job. That's a huge turn of gold, as Draven now has died 2 times in a row, and allows Tristana to get the full tower and get some more kills to potentially get a full second item. I'm curious. Okay, gets the components of IE, and I mean, something I was going to bring up, Draco, is Blorb. I mean, sure, they're really behind, but I feel like once they get second item on Taliyah and Tristana, they can really start making these fights a lot closer than they are right now.
Absolutely agree.
Great flip.
You see these traits, it's not like they're just going in and doing 10% of their health and dying, right? It's very much winnable. It's coming down to a skill matchup, and we'll see if Tills here tries to force a fight. Death Sniper does still have the command, or the shockwave, and so let's see what happens there. I am a little worried for Blurbs in the sense of, since there's a lot of kills, the damage is scaling very fast in this game. Right? We're almost on 2 items Draven. We're seeing
that damage is going to potentially be going through as Nocturne is looking for Sneaky Turtle, or excuse me, Sneaky Turtle is looking for Ruin, and he's left all alone. So that's just going to be an easy kill onto the Rel, and it's all 5 members hovering this mid tower. That's probably just be a free tier 1 and even Rift Herald if they choose so, but actually they're choosing they're choosing option C of Dragon, one that I did not mention.
This is crazy from Sheepless Knights to have 3 drags at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. They've basically been doing them on spawn all game. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again in, you know, just a handful of minutes if they honestly give up Baron for Soul. Actually, Baron doesn't even spawn in 20 minutes anymore. They give up Otacon for Soul if Blurb can even take Otacon in exchange.
I mean, that's kind of the punish of that, if we remember that bot side play around the dragon, but also a top side play. This Taliyah is kind of the bridge for Blorb's comp. Taliyah is the only person that really has that early game advantage. She has the shove onto Orianna, and she's the only one that can really allow this map to not be disconnected, but they kept choosing fights that didn't really include Taliyah until late. And when you have scaling picks like Taric, I would consider Tristana a scaler. She wants items, she wants levels. And especially Vayne, you keep fighting like this PLC style, you're going to lose a lot of those objectives. But Blorb is going to fight back. Get this Herald.
I love to see this. They get the mid tower, they get the Herald, they're putting themselves back on the map, right? They realized they had the tempo here. It was their turn on the map. Rift Herald recall is probably not going to be enough. No flash for Psychopathic Poro.
And the Edge of Night is going to block the stun, but it's not going to block the crash down, but they're fully committing. Poro should have just been sold, but now that might just be the end of both of these players. Again, this is a Moonstone Taric. This is not like an AP or an AD Taric. That is just a full support Taric.
With a Dawn, I was wondering, that's what that build is. Yeah, Dawn Shard, Dawn Core?
Dawn Core,
Dawn Core. Brandon Sanderson, in my mind. Dawn Core item here. It's just kind of surprising to me. That's usually a later game support item because it scales off of your heal and shield power and mana regen. Normally you want that 3rd or 4th, kind of like a Death Cap, right? Death Cap 2nd isn't as
efficient,
beneficial as Death Cap 3rd or 4th. Same logic here. But
and if you're curious, Kodrick, I know you're desperate for this information. This is not what Light Rocket builds. Light Rocket has been building Rod of Ages as Awoa is going to be all inning. That's going to be the flash from the Urgot. A level down from Awoa does get that level up on that reset of the tumble. The tumble forward, but not quite there enough. The Swifties from Urgot is going to allow him to run away as they both have Ghost Match. The Q from Urgot is going to be missing, going a little wide. Still a little bit of an awkward play here. Just gonna, well, we're just gonna take
How
that recall though.
many times have we seen Hollow Slendy escape under tower with sub 200 HP?
Yeah.
I think it's 3. I genuinely think it's 3
I'd
times.
be more, to be honest.
Which, like, if those were 3 kills that went that way, this is a much scarier race.
Oh, speaking of scary though, the Karma almost, if that stun went through, but a stun from Rel is going to make this fight a little awkward for Sheepless Knights, as Sneaky Turtle's going to go in and finally get that kill onto Rel. Talia flashing forward, trying to get a flick onto Draven. It's going to go wide and almost be the target of that Nocturne, but from the support of Tilks, it's a little fine.
No, Psychopathic Quarrel's on a ward.
Yeah, meanwhile, Taric is behind enemy lines, and also the
Push pause, or
the
did
pause
we get a
went through, or
forfeit? Maybe we got a
maybe.
forfeit.
Also, sometimes the replay just kind of bugs. Yeah, I've
Okay.
this is something that's really fun about the game League of Legends, is nothing works.
Right, game. Small indie company.
Yeah.
While that gets sorted out, I just want to point out, the tankiest person in this game is not the Urgot, it's not the Rel, it's not the Taric, it's the Nocturne.
Yeah.
Right? Right. You're on support budget for Rel, you're never going to be the tankiest person in this game. You've got a lethality Urgot. Oh, but they do catch out Psychopathic Quarrel on that ward.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna die. Fear from Nocturne, the slow Stride Breaker. Yeah, you get a heal in, but that's nothing. That's a 1 in 6 Taric now. And
At least he's gonna respawn before the drag's up, not just
True.
giving away soul for free. But yeah, it's this Vayne pick. I could see the merits of it in the lane, but I do wonder how it fills into the top.
we'll say if she stays alive, she does do a lot of damage. I mean, this is only 1 item Vayne, and she's still eating up this Urgot. I mean, this Urgot can't really do anything. And imagine the damage that she's gonna do to a Nocturne as well. Tristana also 2 items at this point, as well as Talia. I feel like Blorb is on really big spikes, but as we've been talking about before, there's this optional objective of Otacon, and Sheepless Knights, I mean, they have such powerful leads, and also getting that pick on the Taric is going to allow them to take it for free. Going to be some flowers, a big level lead for Sheepless Knights now, going into this dragon fight.
Yeah, which it's the passive one that increases the passives of the epic monsters you get, right? And so Hextech Soul on the line in just a few minutes here, less than a minute for this dragon. If you give that up, you're essentially opening the door right up into a Baron play, into closing the game out for Blurb. So this is really decision time, and we might be seeing a collapse here mid with the Nocturne maybe?
I think it's a little far. Nocturne's definitely not in range anymore. This actually might be a timer for Soul to get a free pick. Taric running over, doesn't get the stun. It's actually just a trade for HP. He's going to take that, as Karma can't really sustain that much. Yeah, we're looking at Dragon here, probably about 30 seconds up, and Vayne is already in the play. Soul is recalling to get that HP back, and is TPing bot. So my eyes here are going to be this Weaver's Wall. How does she cut off this fight? Orianna still isn't second item. Nocturne isn't second item. So it's really just Draven and Urgot versus Talia and Tristana in this fight. That's a big chunk, but that might be the death of Death Sniper as the engage is going through, but it's going to be faulty. Shut down from Tristana, and Tilts is going to look for more. The Taric stun with that rocket jump is a beautiful combo and going to secure the support of Sheepless Knights. Blorb now going to look at the dragon. Still a steal potential from Sheepless Knights. The Nocturne ult is available. A low Talia is going to make Soul play a little far back. The crash down from Rel might be her death, but it secures the dragon. That undying rage of Urgot just being in the back is going to yank Talia away. And Sheepless Knights gets 1 kill for this whole play at the end of the day, but they actually keep extending it. The Taric ult going through, 4v3, the crash down being canceled, the stun being dodged away. Nothing for Blorb to do but turn the lights down and kill the Taric. The Taric ult is already gone. Awoa staying alive somehow. The peel from this Rel is absolutely massive. The rocket jump from Tilks and the bomb explosion making Pyro Maverick eat his words of any aggression that he had. And Blorb is going to take home quite the large victory as they continue fighting. Death Sniper just respawned, and he's already being collapsed on again. The rocket jump reset from the bomb is going to allow him to reposition into the darkness. Death Sniper's 1 HP, but doesn't quite die before Tilks is taken down. A shutdown from Miser X. And I don't even know who's advantage for that.
Say, my kill, you can figure it out on your own. I'm going to go kill their carry. But Yeah, that was a very long extended fight coming in from both sides. And like I said, I don't know who came out on top, which I think is a good thing for Blurb, right?
Yeah.
Um, Itemization choice coming in right off the start. Soul survives all the way by Gromp, survives the Shockwave combo from Death Sniper because of the Seraph's Embrace. Luden's Echo on the other side for Death Sniper, no defensive strength there. So they get caught out, they get burst right at the start of the fight. They're not there for the dragon. And that kind of causes the whole snowball to go through. Now we saw a little bit of what you were talking about earlier, with you get the combo off, you get the pick, you get one kill, and then what? For Sheepless Knight, there are so many threats on the side of Blurb. I was questioning the Vayne earlier and still waiting to see the full payoff, but when you have 3 strong carries like this, you have to be so deliberate about how you space and who you focus and when you engage, else you're just going to get blown up if you're not coordinated with your fights. And we kind of saw that extended fight where Tills was able just to go in. They jumped on top of an Urgot and a Draven and weren't focused and just blasted the whole fight.
Speaking of Nocturne might be picked out. The Weaver's Wall actually pushes Tilks over the Baron Wall as well. But he does actually get out. So he's just a little speedy boy and runs away. Something that you did bring up, though, that I want to talk about as well is, like, sure, Death Sniper almost got that kill on Soul, but we've been talking about the whole crux of the Sheepless Knights comp is this Nocturne Orianna combo. But if Orianna is using Shockwave on this isolated 1v1, how does Sheepless Knights get into the fight? It's just a Nocturnal with no Shockwave behind it, then you're just throwing your body, because Nocturne does not do enough damage to kill anyone on Blorb's side.
Yeah, you're hoping your Stride Breaker slow is enough to let your team catch up, and that's a bit of a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
Pun definitely intended. It definitely gets a little trickier, but no catch there.
You know what I mean? Rel can get the stun and the crash down, but Pyro Maverick is near. Actually going to be forcing the Nocturne ult out. That's a pretty big win for Blorb. That's going to allow the side lanes of Blorb to stay alive. But speaking of the side lanes of Blorb, Awoa might be in quite the pickle, as this is an Urgot with 2.5 items. The Guinsoo's of Awoa is going to help this play out a little bit, but the Condemn going onto Meister is not going to get any stun. A flash forward from Urgot to match the flash of Vayne. This is just a dead Vayne. The Q going down. Karma is actually going to take the kill, and Pyro Maverick wants to continue this assault as Death Sniper TP's in. Where is the Shockwave? It's going to be a stun. Taric ult going down. The flick is going to be Zhonya's, but this Nocturne is left alone. Tilks is jumping out. He's a little afraid. I don't think Blorb wants this fight, but the Rel certainly does. As the crash down is going to get one. The flick from Sniper is going to take him down, allowing Tristana to get one more reset and keep the fight going. Whirling Dreath is going to take on the Taric on the backside, but Maverick is going to be the next target and is going to be taken down. Karma as well. It's just Nocturne left all alone, running for his life. As Blorb's going to take this, potentially this mid-tier 2, if they don't die to it. My god. And they're going to reset for this Hex Dragon.
38 HP on Tills, not even close. Calculated. Get that extra damage out. That was an insane fight. And we're seeing the spacing, and I don't know at the start of it if Messier was doing it just to clear vision or if it was intentional, but very beneficial play either way to pop the Oracle lens as you're approaching that side bush in the top lane, because Awoa ulted, Q'd to try to juke them out and sneak behind them, but you get that little red silhouette with the Oracle lens, so they were able to just immediately turn. There's maybe an escape angle if that wasn't active at that point, but doesn't matter for Blurb. They've caught up. Gold is almost dead even at this point. We're seeing the second dragon start up for Blurb, denying soul point once again.
I mean, this Tristana's 4 items, excuse me. 4 items. I mean, 5 if you count the boots. This Tristana's fully unleashed. As I would say, Thanos. She is Thanos right now. She is the carry, everything on her, and she also has a Taric next to her. So this Tristana is what all my eyes are on. You know, you can look at the Nocturne Orianna ball now. It's like, all right, if Nocturne Orianna doesn't one-shot this Tristana, the fight's over. But one thing, Kodo Draco, is that Tristana can jump out of it. She can buffer the Nocturne Orianna wombo. If Tilks is that guy. You never know. It's a really awkward timing. But I feel like Sheepless Knights, their comp doesn't scale super well. They're kind of running out of options. They're running out of steam. The Draven is becoming less and less useful in these fights, and so is the Nocturne. I mean, after you get maybe Steric's Gauge, you don't really do anything else than that.
Right. And maybe one point of criticism is Sheepless Knights used their early pressure. They got the Blessing of Noxus for the boot upgrades, and not necessarily purchasing the upgrades, because I think it's been very controversial when the best time to spend that money is. But I think pointing out Pyro Maverick is sitting on magical footwear unupgraded at 30 minutes in the game essentially. You sit on a longsword, you're sitting on a Doran's blade, that's enough gold right there just to get the upgrade, and that's free bonus stats with the Blessing of Noxus. So I would like to see nothing else than just Swifties, or maybe some armor boots for the Vayne Tristana, something to give you a little bit of extra edge, because you've got so much potential free stats just sitting on the side.
Oh, a flash forward from Death Sniper. The Zonius is going to be the reaction from Soul. The flick is going to find the stun for Sniper, and the shockwave is on cooldown. So what could have been a solo bolo to turn the fight is just going to be flashes exchanged. Still think that that's good for Sheepless Knights. Italia with no flash, but Sheepless Knights wants to continue to pressure this topside river as Baron has spawned. They are a little worried about the potential threat of it, as Terra can keep the sustain on the Baron, and they can do it for a long time. Tristana also one-shots it with her current build, but it's actually just going to be resets across the board.
Yeah. I think we're seeing some good itemization coming out from Flip as well. Lots of armor being picked up, which when you're against Vitality, Urgot, Nocturne, Draven, and you're seeing the Orianna use shockwaves to try to get solo kills in the side lanes, right? You're taking primarily physical damage in these matchups. Zonia is coming through. This can be really detrimental to Sheepless Knight's damage output unless they group up and they see a big combo. This more offensive build from Death Sniper, maybe we can see that Rabadons get finished and some one-shot potential magic damage come through on these armor building carries.
Yeah. I think something to point out though, Draco, is just like you can feel how Sheepless Knights has kind of lost any control of the map. They can't find any avenue to get back into it, and this Baron dance is not going to be anything that Sheepless Knights have any decision to do. They can't really play Baron, they can't do damage to it really because of all the pressure that Blorb has, and also they don't have Orianna to play off of, as he's been blocked in the bot side. Speaking of blocked down though, Sheepless, or Sneaky Turtle, wrong animal, is going to be taken down. Maverick though also taken down as Tilks wants more blood, finds the triple, and Death Sniper TP'd in, might just to be death. Shockwave is going to force them away though, as their eyes are just going to turn to the Baron, as we were talking about before, and this might just be the straw that broke the camel's back here.
Alright, maybe I got a little overhyped for Penta, but I still think it's very well played by Tills. We're seeing this scaling Tristana, the passive, giving bonus range on your abilities and most importantly your auto attacks with levels. Just level 16 Tristana outranges basically everybody, including maybe the Orianna ball at this point. I don't think quite yet, but Draven just can't trade with Tills because you're taking 2 or 3 autos from this wild arrows before you're even in auto range yourself, and at this point you're barely fighting even, right? You're on 3.5 items compared to a full build Tristana, 100% crit, ready to just fight, ready to just, if you're on her screen, she's jumping in.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point, Tilks. I think if she can just get the bomb and then the 4 autos off and not die to Draven, I think the Draven just dies. And I don't think Draven has enough damage to kill her before those 4 autos go off. I think if they're trading even, Tristana is always going to go ahead. They both have Bloodthirsters to sustain, but I think that Tristana is just using that Bloodthirster so much more. The attack speed from her, from the Navoris, from that Wild Arrows, and from her Q just lets her just stay alive, especially with the Taric right next to her. As it is going to be a Dragon contest, the Crashdown is going to fail, and the Magnet Storm is going to find no targets. The Root from Karma is going to give them a little bit more space, but again, they don't have any engage except for Nocturnal and Orianna Ball. The Orianna and Nocturne are now split up. They're playing different sides of the fight. They need to be standing on top of each other, and they just need to send it, as Urgot is eventually going to die to this Vayne on the top side. They're on a timer. They need to go before Rel does. Rel has Flash Crashdown if she chooses to find it, but instead they're just sustaining on the Dragon. Blorb is now on the timer, as Vayne is the one that died. The Crashdown is going to find the Karma, but no flick on top of the Shockwave is finding 2. They get the Dragon, but they might just all die. Tilks has yet been touched, though. The Nocturne turned off the lights. No dash. Soul stays alive. It's only the Rel is the only victim, excuse me. Urgot finally gets his way to the other side, but Blorb gets the dragon and puts themselves on Soul Point.
Yeah. Hollow Slendy, we saw none of it on screen, but I was watching in the minimap. There was some really good spacing happening there and a good turn. I think maybe under tower is what worked out with the ult to get the slow and then the flip and everything. Awoa dies in the top lane, which we saw in Blurb. You could tell exactly what the comms were. They were saying stall out. Awoa is pushing in, chunking out Hollow Slendy. Right, the Vayne is winning that side lane matchup. Just chip it out, play it slow. We're winning this damage over time game. And then that flip happened from Hollow Slendy. And Blurb said, we have to go. We have to engage because we're about to be 5v4 over here as Urgot walks over. And so they went in, they lost a member for it. So a lot of pressure coming from the side lane matchup that directly translates to the other 4 members of each team. But now, Gold, pretty much still even 2,000 in Blurb side, but we are on Soul Point for both teams now. We're about to hit our 7th dragon of the game on this next spawn.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually think that Sheepless Knights had a couple opportunities in that dragon contest where they could have made a really beneficial fight. The amount of times that Ruin used her W and got nothing from it, that's the timer for Nocturne to go in my opinion at least. Because if you go in as Nocturne and Rel counter engages, you have no follow-up damage. If Rel is off her horse and just used it in front of you and also just used her stun, they have nothing to peel you off except for maybe the Taric. That's the time to open up the fight. But it seems that Sheepless Knights are really scared about just making that snap call. Just go, go, go. We have yet to see this Orianna ball be on top of the Nocturne during the ult. And it is 35
this combo,
minutes.
And they're not playing the combo.
Yeah.
Now, what I'd like to see from Sneaky Turtle here, I'm not a Nocturne player, so I might be completely wrong. But what I'd like to see from Sneaky Turtle is, instead of this Tunneler, which is probably building into another HBAD item, right? Sundered Sky, something like that.
I mean, the spell shield is going to block the explosion of the bomb, but he can just jump forward and kill. This might just be lights out here, Kota Draco. That is a massive pick, and they have a wave in the mid lane. And yeah, that's a lot of damage. They only have 1 grub, by the way. No Baron.
A lot of attack speed, too.
That's just Tristana Bomb. Gotta love it.
But I would like to see a Guardian Angel built by Sneaky Turtle, so they can go in, get the Taric ult, die, but then come back for the fight after.
Dying. Rel might just be doing that as the fear's gonna go through. The Fear Beyond Death doesn't actually proc. They get the kill, but he doesn't get the fear off. The Taric ult is gonna support, and Tristana's full HP from this Taric kill. That is quite insane. And they do have the top wave to play off of. Again, that 4v5. Technically it was 4v4 with Vayne being top, but Tilix is just too strong. No Nocturne ult. It's only an Orianna ball to potentially chunk out this Tristana, but I don't know if they have any damage to follow up. This Draven can't hit. Orianna gets 1 combo, but can't hit after that. No more damage other than that.
Nocturne's up with ult in now. We don't have an Orianna combo, but we might be able to fight and fend this off if they try to hold. But I think Blurp's just
Oh my god. Soul really just went for that portal. That is insane. Taric forced to use the flash. The lights are off from Turtle, and he's going onto Awoa. Tilix is going to be able to jump away as Turtle actually stays alive for a decent amount of time, but not long enough. It is a beautiful turn from Blorb. They're just slapping him with their better wallet and their better comp, as Death Sniper is going to be the last player to be taken down. A beautiful ace. Hollow Slendy is alive and ready to potentially fight back, but I don't know how much you can really do. You're just an Urgot. Taric stun into the Talia flick, into Tilix, just uploading so much damage. The Nexus is the next thing to fall as Blorb takes home another win.